About 4 summers ago, I was on a family road trip to the Southwest. I did not know it at the time, but on this trip I had one of the most fearful experiences of my life, the fear that I was going to die. The day before, we had made our way to the Narrows Outfitters, a small rental shop located just outside Zion National Park in Utah. The purpose of this shop was to supply people with the proper boots and accessories to hike the Narrows. The Narrows is a well-known hike in Zion National Park that consists of a very narrow canyon, hence the name, and a river. We simply hike up through the river and canyon. It's quite fun, that is, when the weather conditions are right. The next morning, we put on our clunky waterproof boots and wooden hiking poles from the Narrows Outfitters and took the bus down to the beginning of the hike. There's a few things you should know about the Narrows. During the spring, all the snow melt comes down into the narrow canyon, making the water levels too high for any activity in the Narrows. This causes the rangers to not allow hiking in the Narrows at this time. When we went there on our trip, it was late June, so there was still a lot of water in the canyon, but the level was low enough for this day to be the first day the Narrows was open so far in this year. We started our hike on a cement path alongside the river. At the trailhead and along this path there were many signs that said "Flash Flood Warning" or "If you see signs of a flash flood, seek high ground immediately." These signs made me a little worried, but there were no traces of rain or flash flood yet. As we started our trek up the windy river, wading through and swimming against the strong current at the same time, we were really enjoying ourselves. This went on for a while as we were making our way farther and farther up the river. But then my mom and brother decided to stop at a little piece of land and wait there until the rest of us got to the end of the river and started back. My brother was having trouble getting through the deep water because you constantly had to swim against the current to get where you wanted to go. They just waited there and took a bunch of pictures of this lone tree up on the slope. Despite this, the rest of us kept going down the canyon until we got to a fork in the canyon and had a snack. As we began to head back, it started to rain. This was the point where I started to get scared. All the flash flood warning signs rushed back into my head, giving me more worries. With every second, my fear was rising higher and higher through my body like a rising water chamber meant to drown you. Then, to make matters worse, it really started to pour. The rain fell like miserable droplets, each one contributing to my escalating fear. Now we were frantically trying to get back as fast as possible. This involved trying to run through the water and floating down the freezing cold river at the same time. I remembered to seek high ground if I saw warnings of a flash flood, but when I looked up at the canyon walls for reassurance, all I saw was mostly sheer cliff with no place out. By that time, I was on the verge of tears. I really thought I was going to die, and my fear didn't slow down. As we passed the place where my mom and brother had been waiting, I saw that they had obviously already left. I don't remember much after that, but at last we did reach the end of the canyon, and the rain eased off like it just meant to scare us while we were within a flash flood's reach. That concluded our nerve-wracking adventure down the Narrows, and we all regrouped and took a photo. Now that I look back on this day where the fear of losing my life was taking over, I realize that even though you may be really scared in the moment that you won't survive something, that definitely doesn't mean you won't make it. We many times find a way out.